World's most incredible sacred sites. Hey everyone, it's Alexa again. Welcome back to another video. There are 4,200 religions in the world, with Christianity having the most followers at 2.4 billion, Islam at 1.8 billion, and there are even Pastafarians with a following of, well, we don't know, but it's a registered religion nonetheless. Places of worship have been around since the beginning of time. Today we have a look at some of the most incredible places, still in use or empty, but still resplendent when you envision what it used to look like. But before we get into today's video, make sure that you're subscribed and ring the bell so that you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Jetavanaramaya, Sri Lanka. Located in Sri Lanka is this beautiful stupa, or Buddhist reliquary monument. It used to be the world's tallest and was built by King Mahasena in the 4th century. It's built with 93.3 million baked bricks and used to house 10,000 monks. Tiger's Nest Monastery. High up on the edge of a cliff in Paro Valley is Tiger's Nest Monastery, where legend says Guru Rinpoche, or Precious Master, flew onto the cliff while riding a tigress and spent 4 months meditating in the cave. Reports differ on the length of time he spent in the cave, but suffice to say it was a really long time. This beautiful monastery was built in 1692 and underwent reconstruction in 1998 after a fire ravaged through the rooms. You can hike up to the temple, and if you're fit, it'll take you around 2 hours. Prambanan Temple, Indonesia. This UNESCO World Heritage Site was built in the 9th century AD and is the largest temple dedicated to Shiva in Indonesia. Shiva was one of the 3 great Hindu divinities, the other 2 being Vishnu and Brahma. Prambanan Temple consists of 240 temples and is the 2nd largest site in Southeast Asia. Gadapalin Temple, Myanmar. This is the 2nd tallest temple in Bagan, Myanmar, and is majestic. Built in the 12th century, the building has a hollow gu temple, which is a structure devoted to meditating, worship, and other Buddhist rituals. An earthquake damaged large parts of the temple in 1975, and a lot has been spent on restoring the structure since then. Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple, India. One of the most important Vishnu temples in the world. You'll remember we mentioned Vishnu earlier, one of the main Hindu divinities. This temple is in Tamil Nadu, India. Spread across 156 acres, this temple is home to 21 different towers, of which the main Gopura, or tower, is plated with gold. There are 39 pavilions, 50 shrines, the hall of 1,000 pillars, and several bodies of water inside. Wat Rang Kun, Thailand. Also called the White Temple. This Buddhist temple in Thailand is one of the most recognized in the world. The plaster has small pieces of mirror mixed into it, which gives off a magical shine. The last update mentioned was that the temple was still under construction, and it would take a further 90 years to complete. Tat Bnu Temple, Myanmar. This is another temple found in Bagan, also referred to as the Omniscient. It was built in the 12th century. Its name translates to omniscience, the word used to describe how Buddha was when he entered the temple and how he left enlightened. This was also affected by the 1975 earthquake that affected the Gadapalin Temple. Temple of Heaven, China. Beijing is home to an ancient temple that was built between 1406 and 1420. The Zhajing Emperor renamed it the Temple of Heaven during the 16th century and added more buildings to the ever-growing site. It was renovated during the 18th century and has remained the same ever since. The temple buildings span across 2.73 kilometers squared and are made entirely of wood without a single nail. There is a beautiful park surrounding the temple, which is open daily. Medinet Habu, Egypt. You must use your imagination here, but you can certainly see how beautiful this structure must have looked in its heyday. It looks like a giant sandcastle today, but it's really the mortuary temple of Ramses III, the 2nd pharaoh of the 20th dynasty. There are places inside the remains that depict the defeat of the Sea peoples during the reign of Ramses III. The site was originally built in 1490 BC. Shwedagon Pagoda, Myanmar. This jaw-dropping temple goes by a few names, including Great Dagon Pagoda and the Golden Pagoda. This temple is one of the most popular in Asia, as legend says that Buddha gave 8 of his hairs to be enshrined in the temple. There are other relics in the temple from later Buddhas. It was built 2,500 years ago and has gone through several renovations since then. There is one main stupa, which is impressive to say the least, and it's surrounded by 64 smaller, equally impressive ones. The main stupa is gold-plated, and there are parts encrusted with diamonds and semi-precious stones. This area is not open to the public. Borobudur, Indonesia. There's a lot of mystery surrounding this beautiful temple, discovered in the 19th century by Dutch occupiers of Indonesia. Hidden in the Java jungles was this 9th century complex, comprised of roughly 2 million cubic feet of stones. There are 2,700 relief panels and hundreds of Buddha statues. Said to be the world's largest Buddhist temple, Borobudur was abandoned during the 14th century. It underwent extensive renovations between 1975 and 1982 and is still used as a place of worship and pilgrimage today. Golden Temple, India. Located in Amritsar, Punjab, the Golden Temple goes by a few names, including Darbar Sahib or Harmandir Sahib. This is one of the holiest sites in India and is visited by hundreds of thousands of people every year. Lord Buddha was said to have meditated here. However, there was no lake surrounding it then. It was surrounded by thick forests. The temple is covered by gold foil. The temple does not discriminate against any religion and is open to everybody. The Golden Temple is home to the largest free kitchen in the world, and more than 100,000 meals are served here daily, with all the food being donated. Abu Simbel, Egypt. This temple was constructed by Ramses II, the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty of Egypt. Construction began in Aswan and the temple was cut into the cliff. The temple was built in celebration of Ramses' victory against the Hittites at Kadesh Battle in 1274 BC, thought to be the largest chariot battle ever. The temple was dedicated to several ancient Egyptian gods, including Ammon and Ptah. There are 2 main temples, with the smaller one being dedicated to Egyptian Queen Nefertari, Ramses' favorite wife. The temples were moved in 1964 because if they weren't moved, they would have gone underwater during the construction of Lake Nasser. Swaminarayan, Akshardham Temple, India. This is a huge tourist draw card in New Delhi because even if you're not there for religious reasons, there's a water show that'll totally blow your mind. It's one of the largest Hindu temples in the world and spans 59 acres. The temple opened in 2005 and its name means the forever home of the supreme god. Inside the temple are 20,000 statues of divine Indian figures. There are 10 gates into the temple to indicate that goodness comes from every direction. There's a theater, a food court, lifelike robotics, and the exquisite Lotus garden. It's a must-see if you're ever fortunate enough to head to India. St. Basil's Cathedral, Moscow, Russia. Built during the 16th century, this Russian Orthodox church is one of the most recognized in the world. It's thanks to Ivan the Terrible that it was built, as he wanted to celebrate his victory over the Kazan Khanate. The cathedral comprises of 9 churches connected by galleries and tunnels. It's uncertain who the architects of the cathedral are, but it's widely accepted that it was designed by architects Barma and Posnik. Legend says that Ivan the Terrible ordered the architects to be blinded once the building was complete, so they could never replicate anything as beautiful again. Mahabodhi Temple, India. Around 530 BC, Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath a peepul tree. He was exhausted and sat in that spot for 3 days and nights without moving. After his stint, he reached enlightenment and thereafter changed his name to Buddha. This temple is directly linked to the life of Lord Buddha, and the tree where he meditated is said to still stand, although now called a Bodhi tree. Emperor Asoka built this temple during the 3rd century, and it's one of the first temples to be built from brick. The temple has been restored twice, once during the 9th century and again in the 19th. Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, Abu Dhabi, UAE. The purpose of this exquisite contemporary temple is to unite religion with historical and modern values along with art and architecture. It was also meant to symbolize the unification of the world, which is why it was built using construction materials from all over the world. The mosque was the vision of Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, often called the father of the United Arab Emirates. He worked tirelessly to push the UAE into the modern world, and he began building the mosque in 1996. He never lived to see it completed, but is buried on the grounds. It opened in 2007 and cost $545 million to build. A talking point of the mosque is the world's largest carpet. It weighs 35 tons and covers 60,000 square feet. You can visit the mosque and it costs nothing to do so. St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican City. This is the largest church in the world and is considered one of the most beautiful buildings in Rome. The original church was built during the 4th century by Emperor Constantine, the Roman Empire's first Christian emperor. He built it on the spot where St. Peter is believed to be buried. The basilica that we know today was built from April 18, 1506. There are over 100 tombs at St. Peter's Basilica, 91 belonging to popes and 2 belonging to royalty, who gave up their throne for their religion. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. This is one of the most popular religious sites in the world and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hard to believe that this religious monument used to be rented out by an outside entity for profit. It's only recently been taken back by the local government. It's spread across 401 acres and was built during the 12th century by Emperor Surya Raman II and dedicated to Vishnu. Angkor Wat, translated, means City of Temples, and it's featured on the Cambodian national flag. The bricks used during the construction of Angkor Wat were bonded using a vegetable compound instead of mortar, so the lines are almost invisible. The Angkor Temple Taprom is one of the most photographed areas because of the beautiful vines that have choked the ruins. It was even the set for Tomb Raider. Sadly, many of the trees in this area had to be removed because the temple was threatening to collapse. Have you ever visited any of these incredible temples? Would you? If so, which one? Share your experiences with us in the comments below. 1. Lotus Temple, India. No surprises why it's called the Lotus Temple. This spectacular temple was built in 1986 and is a Baha'i house of worship. This is a place of worship for every religion, and everyone is welcome. There are 27 petals with 9 entrances leading into Central Hall that can accommodate 2,500 people at once. Around 10,000 people visit the temple every day, and there are no formal sermons done here. There's no space to do so. The Baha'i religion has no statues, photographs, or pictures, and believes that the house of worship should be a social place for all religions.